Okay, so we look at the beta for Anno 1880 at 21:9. City building games are ridiculously addictive, and I love history, so combined, Anno 1880 appears on paper like exactly my cup of tea, and wow, it really is. This is a series I have no prior knowledge of, and as I've never played any of the other entries, going in I wasn't really sure what to expect. But overall, I feel it's a mix between SimCity and Civilization. I'm sure many of you will think of different games to meld for an example, but these feel like they make sense to me. You're building a world that is intricately reliant on deep city building, with many numerous factors to consider as you expand and diversify, but it also adds the Civilization theme into the mix in terms of the fighting and military struggles. All in all, the beta really hooked me on a game that I previously hadn't given much thought to, and I found myself numerous times since the beta closed the other day wanting to play and realizing I can't until the 16th. So firstly, ultra-wide support wise, it's a mixed bag. Gameplay is perfect, with it showing off more on the sides of the screen at all moments with no lighting or pop-in issues. No complaints here. The HUD for the most part scales to correctly use the entire screen space, giving you a lovely view into the world as most parts shift to the sides, and the important actions are locked center screen to minimize mouse movements. That said, some parts are stretched to make up for the extra screen space, these being the notification alerts that can appear all over different places. It's a small point, thankfully, but noticeable nonetheless. I would also love to see a HUD scaling option in the settings, as preferably I would like to make it about 75% of its current size so it takes up less screen space still. As for the main menu, in-game menus, and loading screens, they're all ultra-wide, but there are all kinds of glitchy issues with the extra width, as you can clearly see. That said, it should be an easy fix if they can be bothered, and as it is, it's not at all game-breaking. Performance-wise, it should be prefaced that this is one hell of a beautiful game. Like, wow, it's gorgeous. The quantity of attention to detail on buildings, people, environment, and the sheer quantity of objects on screen at any moment is amazing. It really helps make this world feel so alive, but in doing this, the performance is heavily hit, and on a GTX 1080 Ti at 3040 by 1440, I struggle to maintain 60 FPS at all times on high everything settings. There is an ultra high level above this. Now, the thing is, talking about performance for a game like this is hard, because performance at the start of a game, in a certain area of the game, is completely different to performance at the end of the game in a different area. This game gets harder to run as time goes on, because you're going to have more going on. There are more objects to render, more details, etc. And because you have total camera control with any angle and position available to you, something I want to point out is bloody fantastic, and again, brings the world to life so vividly when you pan yourself down to ground level and move about. But yeah, if you position the camera with a ton of stuff in sight, then performance will be hit far harder than if you're looking at a blank bit of ocean. So the long and short of it is this: you're going to probably want to alter your graphic settings twice over the course of an entire game. And remember, an entire game can go on for many hours. Or if you want, just start at the second graphic settings if you really can't be asked to change it later, but I like to have the best possible quality for the longest possible time, so I bothered to do the change. And so, for 3040 by 1440 on a 1080 Ti, I would recommend high settings to begin with, and then drop that down a level to about medium once you can rarely stay above 60. Regardless, even on medium and low settings, this game still looks beautiful, so don't worry too much about dropping those settings. The one big bugbear with all the graphic settings, however, is that you're required to start the game to apply pretty much any changes, which, yeah, I hate that. Gameplay-wise, I really became a little addicted in the short time I got this. Like I said, it's right up my street in terms of gameplay and setting. The beta shows off the fact that this is, firstly, a huge world that is available. You get a random island to start on, and this island already is large enough to try and build and control successfully, but then you realize that this island is just one of a multitude that are scattered around the huge world, and these other islands have either enemies or just friendly other AIs that you need to build relations with or fight. You can take over other islands, expanding your empire, and yeah, it's all very addictive. It does have a little bit of a difficulty learning curve, and you'll find yourself bleeding money at the very start at a very high rate, but it's no extreme curve. Even by your second attempt, you'll have learnt from your mistakes of placing buildings and how to best lay out your cities to maximize area of effect benefits, what resources to focus on, and what upgrades to manage. You can also increase or decrease the challenge with different difficulty settings. On top of all of this, I have not seen anything about there being microtransactions within this. I'm all for big future DLC releases, maybe 2 or 3 that bring significant gameplay changes, but yeah, fantastically, there are no microtransactions, suddenly making me far happier about recommending this. Which, by the way, I am pretty much guaranteed to do. Obviously though, don't go and pre-order, that's the obvious big no-no. I'll cover the game right away at release and let you know what the final release looks like, so hold on until we know the facts of what you're paying for. But yeah, with a WAF score of 3, the ultra-wide support is decent enough for me to be happy to get any ultra-wide player watching this game's launch. And the actual gameplay is easily great enough thus far to warrant a purchase. Anyway, I hope that gives you some information. The game runs at 21/9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful and subscribe for future info. For any of the games at 21/9, head over to my channel, the WAF website. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to support the channel, links to my Patreon page are in the description. Amazon affiliate links are there too. See you later.
Fell on her. Nothing could be done.
How about a cup of coffee? You've been playing for 2 hours.
More's the merrier.
I am Heshua Princess Jin. My father and mother sent me as an ambassador.
Goodbye and good.
Will you bring order to the scattered cosmos? There is nothing like trying.
You're tying the knot. Never.
Tame say.
From decay, you sprout a blush of lotus.
That blooming turnip was the size of her head. Flowers for the lady.